This morning, we got jobless claims coming in hot. We've got two Feds on deck today. Yesterday, we had four Feds on deck, but one spoke twice, so technically five Feds on deck. But the market has been holding up in despite of those things. In fact, I think the market likes that this initial jobless claims came in hotter than expected. I think we've been waiting for numbers like that for a while to give the Fed clearer direction in terms of cutting rates. Tomorrow we get U.S. unemployment report, unemployment rate, U.S. hourly wages. Those three will be big in terms of what to expect out of a move tomorrow. Consumer sentiment is also going to play a pretty big role in that. Looks like we've got Michelle Bowman speaking tomorrow, I believe. That Fed is a hawk, so we'll see how that affects the market as well. We also have had lots and lots of crazy earnings going on lately. So today is Clsk this afternoon, Thursday, February 6th. After market close, we get a report from Clsk today. We're expecting it to be positive, right? This is expecting it to be positive. Now, this one is saying earnings is expected to be -6. So if this comes out positive, that's going to be huge for Clsk, and we might see this thing come out and play out a double bottom, which would take us back up to about $14, $15. Maybe not in one day, but off of that move. MicroStrategy came out yesterday with earnings after close, minus a miss of 3,212% on earnings per share and a miss of 1.43% on revenue. But in the pre-market, you can see here that is up 0.69% currently, which is unlike previous times where we get a negative report and it comes down, 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 down. And then back here, a negative report, and it dropped dramatically. We're not seeing that this time around. We'll see by the end of the day if that is what is going to happen or not, but it didn't happen in the pre-market. We didn't get a gap down off of this honestly bad earnings. But we always know MicroStrategy is going to have bad earnings because they don't actually really make anything. Yes, I know they have a software business. That software business does not make money. Their main focus is Bitcoin. They changed their logo and name to reflect that. Their company is just about Bitcoin, and so they don't actually produce anything. They just hold Bitcoin. That's all they do. So their earnings are never going to be good because they don't really produce anything. Anyways, it not falling is actually a really good sign here for today, for this to come. So what else do we want to look at? So we know Cleanspark. Yeah, okay, let's take a look at Mara. Mara is the second largest holder of Bitcoin for publicly traded companies, and it is looking like it's making something of an inverted head and shoulders. Let me turn off this one with zone coloring. All right, I'll leave some. No, I'll turn off the EMAs as well. I should really turn this into one button. All right, turn those off as well. So we have the megaphone pattern, and now we're kind of getting stuck in the middle of this thing. I really hope we don't come back to the bottom. That would suck. But we got a shoulder there, head there, and another shoulder there. Neckline is about $21. We get back above $21. Mara is in business to go higher. So that'll be very exciting to see. Hopefully that comes through soon. You can see the BX trender down here is still making lower lows on the histogram there. So that's not good. We really want to see that come in and make a higher low on the daily here very soon. We can see the stochastics are near the bottom though. So this thing is likely bottoming out in this area between $21 and $17. Hopefully we can see Mara slowly recover here and get out of this thing. Bit digital kind of floundering a little bit. ETH did okay yesterday, but they still fell down. They're kind of up a little bit in pre-market, like a lot of things. Again, we're getting this almost the same pattern in a lot of Bitcoin miners, like where it's just kind of like doing a double or triple bottom, or in some cases an inverted head and shoulders, even on Bitfarms. You can see that there as well. Riot is an outlier there, where they are doing more of a crazy long bull flag, but a bull flag all the same. But there is a bit of a head and shoulders right in here, which would take it back down to about $10 if it played out. So watch for that on Riot. Iron is also a little bit different. Not exactly the same, but not entirely different either. We had that higher high here than many others had. It is consolidating here down near the bottom, with honestly the pivot point being around $11 once we get back above. Well, we're at $11 right now, but just slightly above where we are right now. Just above that midpoint of this whole section right here. Just above the midpoint of this whole section right here is really where we want to be at in iron to feel like we are going to climb nice and high. We did lose this ascending trend line here, so we do need to regain that. We need to conquer this descending trend line for IREN, and then 16 is a possibility again for IREN from there. Core Z is getting a bit of, honestly, I don't like this. This looks like a bear flag. That looks like a bear flag. I would not be surprised if we retested 1097 on this one, unless it starts going up. The momentum is starting to shift, though. You can see on the BX trender here, the momentum is starting to shift on Core Z, where it is not agreeing with that bear flag. So maybe if we can get back up into this gap here, above 13, 17, into this gap, then perhaps Core Z can be safe. But right now, it's looking like a bear flag, but momentum is saying maybe not. Wolf. We're just doing a quick one. Wolf is doing that descending wedge. We are, again, this does look like a bear flag as well, but again, this one has disagreeing momentum with that bear flag, so it could, if it gets into that gap, it could fill that gap. Hut, see what's going on with Hut. Hut hit the trend line. It's holding. I don't hate this, actually. I don't hate this. Now, we did get a lower low on the BX trender down there. The momentum on the stochastics is looking pretty wispy, so those would need to return. We would need to get it back above $22 again before I'm feeling any good, any kind of way about this. But it's not too bad. It came to the lows, held the lows, and it drove a little bit higher from there. So that's really interesting to see, and hopefully it'll hold there. Cypher is starting to charge right back up again. It's back inside of this channel right here, where it has lived for many weeks. Back in there, it's got a really ugly inverted head and shoulders kind of playing out right there. We're right at the neckline. If we can break that neckline, it can go back to the top of this channel here, which would be about 750-ish for Cypher, and that would be pretty great. I think for Cypher, I think people would be pretty happy with that move there. Wouldn't be so bad. You know, we're looking at like a little over $1.50 move. Not bad. Hive. Okay, Hive is hanging out again at the bottom here. This is the buy zone for Hive. Of course, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. This accumulation pattern here looks exactly like this accumulation pattern back here, which looks very similar to this accumulation pattern back here, which looks very similar to this accumulation pattern back here, and this one as well back here. Where are we right now? We're in that accumulation zone. We're creating something of an ugly inverted head and shoulders. We get back out of this box. Honestly, we get the real confirmation is 348. We get above 348. This thing is likely to fly $1 or more very, very quickly on Hive. So keep an eye on that. Soluna. Somebody asked me about Soluna yesterday, and what I said, and I'll say what I said there. Soluna was always a lotto play. I always expected to lose 100% of anything I put into Soluna. Okay, it is a zero or hero play. Currently, we are below the accumulation box. We are below it. We're going for one of the lowest lows, I think, ever down here for this thing, which is at 139. We're headed that way on Soluna. Okay. What I'd be watching for Soluna right now is a turnaround. One, it's got to break this descending trend line before I'd have any interest at all in it. I'm not buying anymore. I don't plan to buy anymore. I have a very small position that is just a lotto play. I don't plan on adding more. If I were looking to add more, I'd wait for it to break this descending trend line, and then I would also watch for insider buys. So if you start seeing insiders buying more and it breaks this trend line, perhaps this thing is ready to finally get out of this descending channel here, this descending wedge here, and move its way back up again from there. But for now, it's a wait and see in my opinion. Let's take a look at CAN real quick. CAN, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. So I really don't hate this one at all. Let's get a fib going on this thing. I'm going to start at this low here, go to the peak. There we go. 618. Okay, I don't hate that. It could go a little lower. It could potentially go down to 145 before finding a real base and going higher. But the 618 is actually not a bad reversal zone. So I actually don't hate where this is right now. We're also seeing, again, a bit of an inverted head and shoulders sort of pattern there with a neckline like that. It's diagonal, which would take us right back up to 325 if it played out. Okay, so we're watching for that as well on CAN. I'd consider nibbling here. Now, of course, I would wait for the BX trender down here to give me a, let's see, it's already turned it to give me like a pinker line there, and I'd wait for the stochastics to give me a yellow there before I'd be interested, and that would be still an early entry, but I don't hate how it is coming along. BitDeer, similar sort of pattern here. This one's looking, I got a green dot on there. I would like to see yellow on the stochastics, and then I'd say that this is ready to potentially go back to the top of this megaphone, which would be as high as $30 potentially. So not yet. I wouldn't say yet, but if this ends up going up above 1865 there. I'd call that a double bottom. That could take us up to 23, which I would say would be breaking out of this descending wedge, which could take us as high as 27, 28, or 30 beyond. So watch that. Bitcoin's hanging out under $100,000. That sucks. SUI is up by 1.7%. That's not bad. Ethereum is one that actually performed well yesterday while everyone else was falling and crying. Ethereum was up. Let's go ahead and put on a bunch of EMAs. I added this just for crypto. I added this blue line here, which is the 30-day moving average, or 30-week if we're on the weekly time frame. We really want to get back above that. Once we're above that, that's really going to give us a launch pad for Ethereum, and then I'd be looking at ETH from there. Let's see. Many of my others are. It's really disappointing right now. Basically everything. So what happened yesterday? Qualcomm came out with earnings yesterday. They got hammered. Because of it, I actually sold out of my Qualcomm position yesterday that I had because I saw it hitting the 200-day moving average and I felt like that was ominous. So I sold out, and I'm very glad that I did because it dropped pretty hard. ARM also reported earnings. That was also quite lackluster. Even though they came out positive with a beat, they must not have had good forward guidance because they are dropping 7% today off of a beat, which is crazy. Soxl is down 1% here. We're at 27.40. 48 right now. Not too bad. It's kind of hanging out in this area here. Now, like I said before, Soxl would be an early entry still. It would still be a very early entry on Soxl. This cloud here, this red one, needs to turn green before this is a go. It's got to turn green before it's a go. Okay, we're below the 50-day moving average. This cloud is red. It is not necessarily a go right now, but it's still accumulating. It would still be an early entry. You may still be looking at a longer hold before you see any profit on this thing. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I did sell some of my Soxl position yesterday as soon as I saw that Qualcomm and ARM had bad earnings before they had their bigger drops. I got out of that. Now I'm actually, Soxl is actually higher than when I sold it though, so boo on that, I guess, decision. I'm not saying I'm going to get right back into it or anything. I did sell in a slight profit on half of my Soxl position because I looked and I said, oh, I have a little too much exposure to that. I better cut this since like every semiconductor is coming out with bad earnings right now. Hopefully NVIDIA does not do the same. That would be very upsetting. If you're in Palantir had a crazy earnings. They're up over $100 now, $102.34 to be exact, 1% today. We're hanging out here. I would like to see this thing come back into the 90s because we're way outside of the Watson envelope there. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the Watson envelope. We're way outside the Watson envelope. I bet you if I turn this on that we're way outside the Bollinger Bands. I got to turn them on. Hold on, I got to turn them on. Bollinger Band up. Surprisingly, we are not outside the Bollinger Band. We hit it, and then we're going sideways. So we're probably going to go sideways for a little while here because that was like a huge jump. It was up 24% basically on Tuesday. So yeah, that's crazy. Palantir's just been just a constant performer over and over again. I'm so glad I bought Palantir and held it and continue to hold it. And I've been selling covered calls off of it basically is all I've been doing. And that's for now like way out of the money, like a month or two in the future, covered calls on it. And those have been paying out decent. Coin is actually up. All right, did Coin report earnings? No, it did not yet. It's coming in soon. I got a little tiny flag there I want to get rid of. Their earnings are coming in February 13th, but they're up 3% today, so that's a good sign there for crypto as a whole. And that's pretty much all I want to cover today. That's all I got for you. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description as well as the channel bio, and have a profitable day.